Welcome, everyone, to Archangel's Golden Light Healing Live. I'm your host, Tom. I want everyone to relax, take a few deep breaths. We're going to connect with Archangel Michael. Just close your eyes, feel the connection from this royal blue light that comes down from God. Ask Michael to wrap his wings around you to keep you safe and protected from any negativity from anyone in thought, in word, in deed, in action, in vibration, and to keep all darkness away. You can invoke Archangel Michael at any time. Particularly, it's great to do it before you go to sleep. All life is a circle. It's a quote from Rolling Thunder, a Cherokee. The atom is a circle. Orbits are circles. The earth, the moon, and the sun are circles. The seasons are circles. The cycle of life is a circle. Baby, youth, adult, elder. The sun gives life to the earth, who feeds life to the trees, whose seeds fall to earth to grow new trees. We need to practice seeing the cycles that the Great Spirit gave us, because this will help us more in our understanding of how things operate. We need to respect these cycles and live in harmony with them. Today, we're talking about Katere Tekakwitha. There's a small statue of her, also called Lily of the Mohawks, the first indigenous American saint. Lily of the Mohawks, Katere Tekakwitha. Every life was a story, originating from Source, God, Creator, Great Spirit, Wakantanka, the Great Mystery, the Master Storyteller, winding through hills and hollows of earthly existence, then back into the arms of God, who created us. Every life is a story. This is the story of Saint Katere Tekakwitha. She is a patroness of ecology and the environment, the first indigenous American saint. She was born near the town of Orisville, New York. Her father was a Mohawk chief, and her mother was a Roman Catholic Algonquin who had been captured by the Mohawk, but later adopted into the tribe. At the age of 4, smallpox spread through the village, taking the lives of her parents and her baby brother. Although forever weakened, scarred, partially blind, and an orphan, she survived. The brightness of the sun blinded her. She would feel her way around as she walked. She was adopted by her 2 aunts and her uncle, also a Mohawk chief. They named her Tekakwitha, a name which means she who bumps into things. In many ways, Katere's life was the same as all young indigenous American girls. It was filled with chores, spending happy times with other girls, communing with nature, planning for her future. This was also a time of personal and cultural upheaval. Political intrigues between the Dutch, the French, the Huron, and the Mohawk meant that violence could erupt without warning. One such incident had happened when she was about 11. The French colonists attacked and destroyed 3 Mohawk villages in their attempt to move westward. Part of the peace treaty between the French and the Mohawk people was that Jesuit missionaries would be allowed into the indigenous villages when they were rebuilt. This is how Cottery came into contact with priests of her mother's faith. The Jesuit priests strove to learn the language, to learn the culture, and assist the Mohawks to make connections with their spiritual beliefs and those of the Catholic faith. Excuse me. Water is life. Although she was not baptized as an infant, she had fond memories of her prayerful mother. She shared with her daughter stories of faith. These memories remained indelibly impressed on her mind and heart, and were to give shape and direction to her life's destiny. She would often go into the forest alone to speak to God and to listen in her heart and in the voice of nature. When she was around 18, Father Jacques de Lamberville, a Jesuit missionary, came to Caughnawaga and established a chapel. Her uncle disliked the black robe and the strange religion, but tolerated the missionary's presence. Cotteray vaguely remembered her mother's stories and whispered prayers. She became fascinated with the new stories she heard about Jesus. She wanted to hear more about him and his mother, Mary. Father de Lamberville began instructing her in the catechism. A year later, on Easter Sunday, the 20-year-old, nearly blind Mohawk girl was baptized. She, who bumps into things, was radiant with joy. She was given the name Katere, the Mohawk form of the name Catherine, after Saint Catherine of Siena. Katere's family did not accept her choice to embrace Christ. After her baptism, she became the village outcast. She was isolated, avoided, and insulted. Her family refused her food on Sundays because she would not work. Children would taunt her, and they would threaten her. She was also ridiculed for not wanting to be married. She stood firm in the face of constant harassment. Eventually, she grew tired of the hostility towards her. In July of 1677, she left her village and fled more than 200 miles through forests, rivers, and swamps to the Catholic mission of St. Francis Xavier at Sault Ste. Louis, near Montreal. Her journey took her 2 months. Because of her determination and undying faith, she was allowed to receive First Holy Communion on Christmas 1677. It is here where she received the name Lily of the Mohawks. Although not formally educated and unable to read or write, she led a life of prayer and devotion to God. She taught the young. She would help those who were poor or those who were sick. Her favorite practice was to fashion crosses out of sticks and place them throughout the forest. These crosses served as stations that reminded her to spend a moment in prayer. 4 years after her baptism, Kadare left this earth plane surrounded by friends. Within hours, the smallpox scars she had since childhood miraculously disappeared, leaving her skin smooth and untouched. 3 people had visions of her in the week following her death. A chapel was built near her grave, and soon pilgrims came to visit. This lily of the Mohawks, who built bridges, not walls, between the Europeans and the indigenous American, between humans and God. A number of miraculous healings were attributed to Kadare's intercession. In 2011, Pope Benedict named her a saint, the first indigenous American saint, the patroness of ecology, patroness of the environment. Her feast day is July 14th. And this was taken from Catholic Rural Life and also the Okota Museum and Cultural Center. Once again, here's a small statue of the first indigenous American saint. Thank you for joining us. Happy trails, and thank you.